Channel Sports Central will be going over an NFL game preview and prediction on the 2021 wildcard round matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. Should make for a good matchup here, as both teams have had 11-5 seasons and both teams have got a decent amount of momentum coming into this game. Especially this Ravens team has won 5 in a row, and this is the team that's playing as good as they have all season, so it should make for a good matchup. We're going to go over a full game preview and prediction on this one here today, starting out with your team trends. Last game for Baltimore, they beat Cincinnati in the last game of the regular season, 38-3. The Ravens completely shut out the Bengals in that matchup in Week 17. Good win there to finish out the regular season. As for Tennessee, they beat Houston in a close one, 41-38. That kind of shows where both teams are at as they come into this matchup, as both teams just faced mediocre teams. And the Ravens had a lot more success with it, so the Baltimore Ravens definitely have got a lot of momentum coming into this matchup. Even though both teams have got the same record, I definitely think the Ravens are looking like the better team in this situation. Ravens are the 5 seed in this matchup. They're 11-5 with a 5-game winning streak. And then Tennessee is the 4 seed, also 11-5 with a 1-game winning streak. This game is to be on Sunday, January 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern in Nashville, so Tennessee will be the home team. Spread currently says Ravens by 3.5. ESPN FPI is going on the Ravens side here as well, 63%. And then your Vegas predictions going on the Baltimore side, 36-32 is your current projected final score. So the Ravens are actually, even though they're the 5 seed here, they are favored here in all 3 areas, which once again is not very surprising considering both teams have got the same record. And also the Ravens have got a ton of momentum coming into this matchup. Really, I mean, the Ravens are the team I think in the AFC is definitely the most dangerous one, and they're definitely the dark horse of the AFC right now, considering how they've played down the stretch. This is a team that's been very successful in their last 5 games, and even though they played mediocre teams, they did beat a Browns team 47-42 back on December 14th, which was definitely a very important win for them moving forward, but really still should make for a good matchup, as Tennessee has done pretty well down the stretch as well. But once again, Baltimore is favored here in all 3 areas. Here's a stat comparison for this game. Lamar Jackson leads out the Ravens here with 2,700 yards with 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And even though it's been kind of an underwhelming season for Lamar Jackson, especially in comparison to how he did in 2019, I mean, Lamar Jackson is still a great quarterback, and he's still had a good season as he's led the Ravens to a pretty good spot in the playoffs here. But they got 2 really good running backs as well, in J.K. Dobbins, young running back there, who's put up nearly 1,000 yards on the season with 9 touchdowns, and then Gus Edwards, who's also a young running back, putting up over 850 yards with 6 touchdowns on the season. As for the receiving core, this Ravens team really has not had a lot this season. They've had Marquise Brown leading out the receiving core with 770 yards and 8 touchdowns, and their second in receiving and their top tight end is Mark Andrews, who's put up just over 700 yards with 7 touchdowns. As for Tennessee here, they got Ryan Tannehill, who continues to have a ton of success in Tennessee, as he's had over 3,800 yards on the season, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. You could honestly argue that Ryan Tannehill is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league this season. I mean, 33-7 for the touchdown-interception ratio is very impressive out of Ryan Tannehill. And really, I'm sure most Dolphin fans are thinking, where was Ryan Tannehill at when he was in Miami? But he's had quite a lot of success with Tennessee, and so that's certainly very good for him. But as for the running back core, they got Derrick Henry being completely just he's so dominant in the running back for Tennessee, and he's such an important player. I mean, honestly, for Tennessee, he's had a huge season, and he's definitely had the best season of his career up to this point, as he's put up over 2,100 yards with 17 touchdowns. And this has been the big breakout season for Derrick Henry. I think moving forward, Derrick Henry is going to be a huge staple in the AFC, especially as running backs are concerned. But for the receiving core, they got A.J. Brown leading it out with just over 1,000 yards with 11 touchdowns. Got Corey Davis in there as well with 980 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then Jonnu Smith is the third in receiving and also the top tight end with over 450 yards and 9 touchdowns on this season. Some key points for this one: Ravens are playing with a lot of momentum right now. That's why they're definitely the most scary team, I think, in the AFC right now. You got the Bills. The Bills are definitely going to be a very tough out in the AFC. Same thing with the Chiefs. But the Ravens, I think the Ravens have got a better chance to make it to the AFC Championship game than the Steelers, than the Browns, than the Titans, all of them. I think the Ravens have got a good chance to make a deep run in the playoffs this season. They're definitely the scary team in this AFC side, and they're going to be a tough out for sure. But they've got a ton of momentum right now. I mean, it all goes back to the momentum, and even though Tennessee's got a decent amount of momentum coming into this game, the Ravens have definitely got a lot more. Titans have got some good wins down the stretch for sure as well, but they are a bit inconsistent. I mean, one week they completely blow out Jacksonville, they completely blow out Detroit, and then they lose to the Packers 40-14 in Week 16. I mean, that's kind of been the trend down the stretch for the Titans. They get a couple of really good wins, and then they take a brutal loss, which, I mean, they also lost to Cleveland back on December 6th as well. So I mean, Tennessee down the stretch hasn't been as good as they've been. Of course, at the beginning of the season, but really the Titans are still a team I definitely think is capable of winning this game. Like, they're going to be a tough out too, which is just kind of unfortunate for the Titans here that they got to play such a high-powered offense and such a momentum-filled team with the Ravens right now, because that's going to be a very tough team to beat, in my opinion. But how each team would win in this situation, really for the Titans, I mean, they just got to keep it close. I think the Ravens are going to come out of the gate and play very well, and the Titans are going to have to really match that, and possibly Ryan Tannehill's going to have a huge game as well, and he's going to outplay Lamar Jackson, which will definitely be a tough task. But that being said, I got to go with the Ravens here. Like, this Ravens team has got too much momentum to go against them right now, and even though both teams are 11-5 coming into the game, I just think the Ravens, they've got too much momentum. They're playing too well right now in order for them to go out in the first round. So I'm going to go with Baltimore here. 34-31 is going to be your final score. Halftime is going to be 17-14 towards the Ravens, but probability will be 60% towards the Ravens. So I am going with Baltimore here somewhat significantly. I definitely think it's going to be very close, and I would not be surprised a single bit if the Titans did win this game. But I mean, I just got to go with the Ravens. Ravens are the better team, I think, right now. Lamar Jackson is playing just slightly better, I think, than Ryan Tannehill right now. And I also think the Ravens in general are playing like an outstanding team. Like, I mean, Lamar Jackson is as good as it gets as if you're looking at a rushing quarterback. So I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a huge game here, and he's going to lead his team to a win here. 34-31 is going to be your final score. But let me know your thoughts and comments below on this game, score predictions, all of that. Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you guys all watching. If you enjoyed it, slap a like on it and subscribe as well, as it really helps the channel. I really appreciate that. But once again, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you guys all later.